We have our reporters Nqobile Madlala, who is in Durban for us, as well as Nobesuthu Hejana in Cape Town. Let's start with you, Nqobile, in terms of the Public Servants Association preparing to go on strike or do that stay away tomorrow, of course, because of the fact that they've reached a deadlock with wage talks with government. South Africans are concerned, Nqobile, about this likely affecting non-essential services such as healthcare. What are they telling you?
Well, Masego, we've spoken to PSA, and PSA has said that they are going to be on the streets definitely tomorrow. But also we've heard from Nahau. Now, you know Nahau has quite a number of people that are in the health sector, as well as NUPSA, who's also got quite a chunk of people that are coming from the health sector. We have heard that they are supporting the march that's going to be happening tomorrow, so they are definitely going to be on the streets. We have also heard from them that they're saying that a number of people will be working, some of them are working, but there's been a demand to say that those CEOs and everybody in the top level needs to now go on the ground and actually work and do the work that the public servants do on a daily basis. They're saying that they want the 10% and they reject the 3% that the government has already given them. They feel that that 3% was imposed on them, and even though they've received them in their pay, they're saying that it was imposed, they reject it, and they want the 10%. And as a result, they are supporting the march. They're going to be marching with the federations. We have heard from COSATU, and COSATU saying that they are going to be leading that march. Quite a number of people are expected to be gathering in Gauteng as well as Western Cape and also in Durban. But we are hearing that a lot of them are going to be on the streets. They want to be heard, and they are doing this unitedly. So let's listen in as they explain.
The response that we have received from National Treasury is a very serious silence response. What we have seen in terms of that response, they continue to say they don't have money. They want to push us for the next negotiations for 2023 to 2024. That's why as PSA we started this struggle, because we're aware that government is pushing us on the street. So tomorrow we're going to be meeting with other federations to march and send a message to government. As we have said as PSA that we're going to intensify the struggle. We're going to ensure that all the strategic side of the economic, there is no in and out in the country, because we're dealing with a government who is very arrogant. You might have seen that on the 10th of November, PSA has a successful strike which was peaceful. But we understand government of the day, they only respond when there is violence.
All right, Nobesuthu, let's come to you in Cape Town, where many commuters were stranded this morning because of that stay away by Santaco drivers. This, of course, being their reaction to the province doing away with the Blue Dot project. Do we know whether commuters will be just as badly affected in the afternoon peak?
Well, Masego, what we're hearing from the MEC of Mobility in the province, he says obviously this came as a pilot project back in 2020, and about 805 taxis were part of this program. But over the years, or in the past 2 years, they've exhausted their budget and they are not able to continue with the program, and they've been appealing to the national government to assist them, because this is the way to encourage drivers, especially the taxi industry, where there have been a number of complaints with how they're driving on the roads and their conduct and so forth. So he's saying that he has written to the national government to assist or to appeal for help. But what we've been hearing from commuters, especially those who are not able to make alternative arrangements, who pretty much depend on the taxis, they say they've been badly impacted. Some of the pupils did also mention that they weren't sure how they were going to get to school. But what we know from the Western Cape Education Department is that they've made arrangements to ensure that all learners who are supposed to be writing their exams today, they do so. They can go to any center or examination center, and if they do have their ID books and a proof that they are writing today, they can write in any of those exam rooms. But this is what the MEC for Mobility had to say about him criticizing the violent actions where we saw buses being torched, and there was one attempt to hijack one. But this is what Mr. Dalen Mitchell had to say.
Golden Arrow buses have been set alight. My City buses have been set alight. intimidation to other modes of transport has been happening, but also the continuous violence that is erupted since this morning, in particular the Khayelitsha area, which is identified as a hotspot area, and law enforcement agencies have now upped the deployment in that particular area in order to ensure that we keep the commuters safe, but also that we protect the community of Khayelitsha, but also the public infrastructure that is ultimately being damaged throughout this process.
Right, let's go to Ronald Masinda now, who is in the Eastern Cape. Ronald, Nqobile Simayeli, the mother who allegedly killed her 4 young children with a sledgehammer, passing away yesterday. Have you gotten any more details after that story broke out?
All right, so what we've been told by the family is that Nqobile Simayeli had issues with high blood pressure. We are, of course, still waiting for the autopsy to find out as to what was the cause of her death. But no doubt a lot of stress, it seems, following her arrest last week after attacking 4 of her children in that rondaville in eNqobo. But what we also understand, Masego, is that the family had forgiven her. We spoke to the mother earlier on, saying that in as much as she caused such a heinous act, we forgave her because we believe that she was not acting alone in this killing. But what we also heard from the mother is that they were willing to forgive her, but the concern was whether or not the community would accept her back in society. We also heard from the father earlier on, explaining to us just the difficulty that the family has gone through. It's been a family going through a lot of hardship. The father telling us even during his time he worked in the mines in Gauteng and got injured and had to come back to Eastern Cape to live here, and they've been struggling to make ends meet. They are a family now who is concerned as to how they will manage to afford for the funeral of Nqobile, after given that they received quite a lot of support, not only from the local municipality in eNqobo, but also from local businesses following that burial of 4 young children. We heard from the father just describing, Masego, hours after being told that Nqobile Simayeli is no more. This is what he had to say in isiXhosa.
Bathe bendiqalela ke ngoku ndabe sendiqondile hayi bendihlele ndiyilindela nto ngoba nge-17 bekufanele uba kube sibonene nomntwana khange sibonane. Ndasoloko ngoku ndilindele uba okanye ndizawufowunela ndixele uba isimo somntana sinjani, khange ndifumane efowuni. Xa sizawukulala izolo phaa emalanga ndifumana isimo somntwana uba siye satshintsha, kwanyanzeleka uba makabalekisele esibhedlele e-All Saints. Ubalekiselwe ke esibhedlele e-All Saints apha ayokohlulakala khona. Kwathiwa ke namhlanje sivukele eMthatha, sivukele e-police station sizokwazi uyiswa eMthatha. Kwaphinda ngorhatya kwafika into ethi hayi lumisiwe olo hambo. Into eza kwenzeka ngosizawuya edolophini ngomso ngolwesibini sikwazi ukuswa eMthatha siyothatha umntana, umzimba womntana sizombeka kumzi wabangcwabi.